Here's the show about scavenging with Mikey, Wayne, DJ, and Ryan. Make a lot of money while you might have threw out. Trash and cash is what the show's about. This is the eBay Scavengers.
Hello and welcome to another episode of eBay Scavengers.
Scavengers.
This is episode number 81 at ebayscavengers.com. And that intro music was by a podcast listener named Adam, who wrote to us.
Yep, from Philly, and he says he makes music, and
yeah,
I don't know, he thought he would make us a little intro.
that was really cool.
But the funny thing is that that will probably be the only time we'll ever play it because we had a talk with Mikey and Wendy this weekend, and they've decided they're not going to do the podcast anymore.
Yes.
Which is very sad.
It is very sad.
Yeah, but it makes sense. You know, they're busy people, just like we're busy people, and, you know, they have other projects they want to do, and, you know, we don't make any money from this. This is kind of like a fun volunteer project.
Hobby.
Yeah, hobby thing. So it makes sense. So
yeah, so they are always, ever since we first met them, doing tons of crazy cool things all the time. So they are going to continue doing those things. You can check out Wendy's book that she talked about.
And you can also follow their blog, which we will link to, and you can see all the cool projects they work on, and they kind of document their adventures.
Oh,
so.
they fully document everything they're doing, so it's always fun to follow what they're doing.
Yeah, so it's sad that they're not going to do it with us because, you know, we've always had fun talking. It's with them and working with them on this project because, you know, eBay has always been eBay became kind of like a little piece of the puzzle for these like kind of independent scavenger lifestyles. But, I think they're still going to keep selling on eBay. Just they won't be doing this. That's all.
Yep.
Okay. We wanted to talk about what's happening this week. And I think for us, this past week has been really good. We've had really good sales. And like we said before, it seems like people are buying as much after Christmas as they were before.
Yeah, I always get weary of January because I'm like, oh, Christmas shopping's over. But last year we had a crazy month. And this year, you know, it's only a few days into January and we're having a crazy month.
Right. And I think I remember last year things started cooling off in like February and March. And,
spring is slow, I think.
I don't know. Then again, it's just...
Well,
it's hard to say.
I will say it really helps that we sell winter jackets, sweaters, winter boots. I mean, we're selling that stuff like crazy because it's like the coldest it's ever been in the country. Like the whole country is freezing right now.
And that's what we've been working on this past week is Ryan has been listing all of our jackets and sweaters that we haven't put up yet. We took a huge pile of photos of all these coats we had, so they're going up now, and we've been actually selling a lot of coats and sweaters.
And we made sure at the beginning of the season we made the decision to make offer on all sweaters and jackets because we wanted to move that stuff, and people have been making sometimes they'll make low offers, but we're like, you know what, let's just sell it.
Yeah, exactly. Because we actually have a thrift store that's close by where they just have endless amounts of jackets and sweaters that we get for almost
good quality,
nothing. And they're good quality. They're just, you know, a vintage just because people are throwing them out. And so we don't mind doing deals on them because they take up a lot of space. And although I will say, Wendy always talked about this, in the summertime, we still sell jackets and sweaters to Australia because it's cold over there.
And it's funny, I sold a pair of overall shorts over the weekend, and it was literally 0 degrees in the United States. And I'm like, that's so weird. Who was buying that? And then I looked at the address because it was global shipping. Australia, because it's like 90 degrees there right now. So global shipping.
It works.
Overall shorts.
Yeah. I just finished taking photographs of 3 huge plastic bins of fabric. We had just hit this like gold mine where we went to this thrift store and they just had one of those back areas in the corners of just these bins of fabric. I guess some person did a lot of crafting and then they just got get rid of them all. So we had wool fabric and this really nice, crepe fabric.
Yeah, this silk crepe. I mean, just crazy stuff that you're like, this is real. And some of it too is very vintage. Like, I looked up some of the labels, and some of them are from the 50s.
Right.
Like this beautiful silk taffeta, crazy expensive fabric.
And because we're scavengers, a lot of it, like at least one big bin, were just scraps. Were ones that were smaller than a yard. So that means that we're selling them in lots. So So I took pictures of a lot of 10 pieces of these things, because there are people out there who are crafters,
right?
And they find the name of it is what
cutter. We call it cutter fabric, or remnants. You can call it remnants, cutter, or quilt fabric, because they're quilters. They don't care. Like, they want crazy patterns, different colors.
Right.
Like, they're making crazy quilts. They don't need huge pieces.
Right.
So remnants, if you sell them remnants cheap, you got them for almost nothing. Right. So that's like crazy. We sell it like crazy.
Sometimes I think we get a little bit too insane about it, but it's that obsessive scavenger. It's like, I just want to sell everything.
Every scrap.
I don't want anything to get thrown away.
Wow.
Everything has a value to somebody, and you just have to think about who wants it and then package it in the right way,
Actually, that reminds me, just a side note, we do beekeeping in our backyard.
Yep.
And when you harvest the honey, you get these the top, it's called cappings, so it's the top wax and propolis and honey, little honey bits. And so I kept a big bin of it, this massive thing. And we were trying to get wax out of it, and we didn't really get enough wax, and we had all this propolis, and we were like, what the hell are we going to do with this? And we looked it up online, and people sell it for so much money.
Right. People sell small amounts of it, and I guess health food people like it because
they make tinctures out of it,
and supposedly it's antioxidant.
And just antibacterial and stuff like that. And
so we probably have at least a pound of it that we're gonna
so we split it up into little jars. But that to me is total scavenger mentality, where I literally was about to throw it all in the compost, and then I was like, wait a second. Right. Don't people at health food stores
see? I think in pioneer times we'd be those people when you would slaughter a pig and you just eat everything. you make blood pudding and menudo and whatever else.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's kind of what we're like.
Eat everything.
Yep.
So, and I think that this goes back to the idea of, we love the idea that our store is like a general store.
Right.
Everything we've talked about so far, selling fabric and coats and propolis, it's just, we like the idea of, we'll sell anything and everything. I noticed some people like to have specialty stores, they'll have 4 eBay stores, and this is my shoe store and my collectible store and my fabric store.
Right.
We like it all in one place, because I find very few people are actually shopping at your store. They're just doing search terms. So when they land on an item, they don't really care if it's in a shoe store or if it's in any kind of store. They're looking at that pair of shoes.
Yeah, it's just an item.
And I think that's good for two reasons. Number one is, when we have so many different kinds of items, it means that something eventually will sell that day.
Right.
If people don't want a coat, they're going to want it's glasses or something,
Right.
And also for us, keeps it interesting. I like that one day I'm working with coats and another day I'm working with, antique tools or something.
Yeah, I think that's something that we're always battling too, is making sure that you're not getting bored. Like you said, you took all these photos of fabrics. Now you can move on to something else. It's not like you're taking photos of fabric for the rest of your life,
right. Right. I mean, and so that's why I see when people really specialize. I mean, I guess if you're really into toy cars,
right,
and that can sustain you, that's awesome. I just feel like I would get really bored if I was selling one kind of thing all the time. It would start really feeling like a slog,
Yeah, I think we're not the kind of people that get into one thing anyway, right. So that's just not who I am.
I think it's also hard too, talking about being an obsessive scavenger when we're out there trying to find stuff. It's just, there's so much different kinds of stuff. I just physically am not able to keep my eyes off of something, if something's available and it's super cheap or free,
why
not get it?
Why wouldn't you get it? Well, that reminds me of something I packed this morning.
Yep.
Which was I think I mentioned it in another podcast. I bought this Danish modern office chair for $1.
At Goodwill.
At Goodwill. Right. We did sell it. We took an offer. I had it up for $120. We took an offer of $90. So that's good, but I had to pack it and ship it to someone. So that was a little bit of a pain to me. Right. However, I totally did it, and I took a photograph of it, so I'll share it with you. But right. But that's an example of me being like, okay, that office. I'm looking at it in the store, thinking, do I want to pack this thing?
And again, we went to Walmart because we had to pick up something else, and we found some boxes. Actually,
it's funny. You never find the big boxes. They're 24 by 24 by 18. You never find those for free. You usually have to buy them. This woman was unpacking these boxes of blankets, like comforters, and they came in that size box. And I was like, please let me take that box. So I didn't have to buy a box. Yep. It was ideal. It was perfect. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Scavenger.
I mean, we aren't big fans of Walmart, but it does exist. So we definitely love to scavenge there.
We basically go through their trash.
Yep. And we get all the boxes and plastic bags and they're great. You know?
Yep.
And, because it's the beginning of the year, we kind of wanted to talk about what we wanted to do or what we've done it's this podcast, you know? I mean, because Mikey and Wendy are no longer choosing to do the podcast, we had to think, well, do we want to keep doing it ourselves?
Is it going to be interesting enough without partners?
Yeah, and I think we're still having fun. And one reason is I think it's this year, a couple of things happened. Number one is we said we wanted to do interviews with people. And I think if we've done that, it seems like a couple times a month we'll interview either a seller or some expert. And that's been fun.
That's fun. That mixes it up. It gives another perspective.
Yep. And then I think we also wanted to kind of grow the community. And I feel like that's happened. I feel like when we put up a podcast, I love getting people commenting.
Lots of emails.
And lots of emails. And that's always good to see because, it's good having that feedback loop or else it just feels like we're throwing this out into the ether.
Well, that's also why we started the podcast. We were like, who's out there doing the same type of thing or who's out there who wants to do kind of what we're doing? And let's all talk together and share ideas,
I feel too like that's kind of the way we've always been is that when we start a project, we get into it and then instead of just kind of doing it in an isolated way, I think we like to kind of do it out in public and we like to talk about it with other people because, it was exciting for us to discover that we could make a living doing this. And it seems a little silly if we were just to kind of keep it all a secret.
It's funny because people in our local area don't really know we do it.
Yeah.
And it's nice to be able to talk to people outside. Like, I hate it when people don't pay for stuff and you have to, do an unpaid item. It's like most people here are like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. I mean, I was just talking to a guy I know. It's last night and he's a friend. And, we were talking about selling on eBay because he kind of knows we do it. And I started to get into the details. And even as a friend, I could just see his eyes glaze over.
Like he's just like, what?
Uninterested. He starts being, what, you sell shoes and you sell jackets? Like, it's just, it didn't click in his mind.
Well, what's funny is most people think when you say that, they're like, God, you must be like living on the edge, like you have no money. Like, I really think people think that. They're like, wow, you're really hitting it. Yeah. You're hitting the bottom. And you're like, are you serious? Yeah. Do you know how much money we make? It's like, it's embarrassing, I've told people in my family how much money we make, and they're just like, what the F? Yeah. Like, are you serious? So, whatever.
So I think that's one reason why we're going to keep doing the podcast because, number one, it's fun for us to hear what other people are doing. It's nice to, kind of have a group of people that understand what we're doing and why it's exciting, why we're doing this instead of working a regular job.
So the next thing we should say is we definitely have goals this year in our own personal life.
Yeah.
Using the money that we make on eBay.
Right. I mean, I think that's also something important, too, is that, we have lives outside of just selling eBay.
Yeah.
I think this would, again, feel like we're working in the mines of eBay if this is all we did.
eBay mining. Yeah.
But, this is just a means to an end. So, our goals this year is, we live in a rural area. In our backyard are 2 mountain ranges and a national park. So we really want to start hiking a lot more.
Yeah, we went on a hike, I think it was last weekend or the weekend before.
2 weekends before,
and we just were like, oh my God, we never do this. It literally, the national park's right in our backyard. Like, it's so close.
Right.
And we work so much, you know, that we just never do that stuff. Yeah. And it was so fun, and it was so easy, and it was amazing. So that's a goal for us to be like, okay, let's not work today. Yeah. Let's go on a hike.
And also do some more camping, too.
Camping, yeah, because that's the place to do it.
And also we have a river that runs through our county, and we actually bought some kayaks real cheap on Craigslist to use, and we used them a couple times, but we need to do that a lot more. I want to hook up with some people
and do kayaking because it's so fun. Oh my God, I love it. Yeah, it's really fun.
The other thing is we really are going to finish this other house that we had bought. So we've been really taking time and being very detailed about it, and we're really fixing it up the right way. So you do it once and it's done. We're almost done, but we've kind of taken a break this winter time, but in the spring I want to finish it so we can start to rent it and make some money.
Rent that thing. Yeah. Jesus. Yes. I want to finish it too very badly. But the thing is, when we redid our house and now we're redoing the second house, we're very detail and design oriented, so everything has to be obsessively perfect. And not in like a snooty way, but in a way that's like, I want it done this way, and it's going to stay this way, and it's beautiful, and it's perfect, and it's
we just like it to be well made.
Right.
Again, just so we don't have to change it or fix it in 5 or 10 years, you know?
All we have to do is minor maintenance and cleaning. That's it.
And I think if it works out, we're going to travel to Amsterdam again in September, so... And we want to stay another month again. So that's it's important to, talk about these things and to know what we want to do, because that does affect how much work we put into eBay and, what we want to get out of it, and the money we get, what we want to do with it.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I definitely want to go back to Amsterdam. I have my little bonus card for the grocery store. Yeah. It's like I feel like I live there because I'm like, I have my bonus card and my Metro card and my SIM card. Yeah.
And as always, we're continuing to pay down our debt, which is important for us. So,
I wish we could be debt-free.
Yeah, we want to be debt-free in the next handful of years here, and it's possible.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
So we would love to hear what anyone else's, what your goals are. It's this year. Not to be, I feel like we're some kind of self-help group now, but it's always good to hear what other people are planning and doing. It's just neat
for
to hear.
Me also. It's like you need things to look forward to.
Yep.
Things that you're excited about, so that you're not just like, we're just doing this every day. Yeah. It's never ending. Yeah. Like we live in a world, like you got to be able to travel and go places and have goals and do fun things, or else what the hell's the point of anything?
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's why we chose the life we have. So.
Yeah, and I get to sleep till 9 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, so we're going to do questions that people have sent into the blog at ebayscavengers.com.
Questions.
Yeah.
That's my little intro.
So we have a listener who wrote, do you know what the policy is regarding having to charge sales tax on items sold on eBay?
I'm pretty sure that sales tax would not need to be charged on used yard sale type items. What do you know about this issue? I'm in California. Thanks and Happy New Year. And that's from Deb.
Okay, so look, number one, we are not accountants. So you should never get tax info from people on the internet.
Who aren't accountants.
Yeah, so, talk to an accountant. But here's what we do. Number one is, you're supposed to charge sales tax
on resale items. Right?
Everything. And you're supposed to charge sales tax for things that you sell to people in your state.
Right.
And that's what the rules are. And that's the interesting thing. If you Google it, internet sales tax, there's a big fight that's been ongoing in Congress where retail brick-and-mortar stores are trying to get Congress to pass an internet sales tax where anything you buy on the internet a tax is automatically charged that gets sent to each individual state.
Right.
Because right now, the sales tax you're supposed to be taking in, you're supposed to do on a volunteer basis, and they have no way to know if you are doing it right or not.
Right.
So that's really what its rule is. And it seems like this internet sales tax always gets kind of slowed down in Congress because, people don't want to charge more taxes.
Well, I will say this for the internet sales tax thing, from what I read was it's for online retailers that make more than $1 million.
Yeah, they're I mean, nothing's been passed, but they're trying to pass laws, and then they're trying to change it, and so
what I do know is if you're a reseller and you have a reseller's license, a lot of times at auctions and thrift stores, you don't have to pay sales tax on those items that you're going to resell. Like, people at stores sometimes, like, they think we're sellers, which we are, but I try not to say we are. They'll be like, oh, are you tax free? Like, do you have a reseller's license? And I'm like, no. And then they wouldn't charge you tax. So basically you're not being charged tax twice, I guess.
Right. But we don't do that just because we don't like to do a lot of paperwork, and we don't mind paying some sales tax. So
yeah, at thrift stores. So
anyway, yeah.
That way.
Again, anything tax is related, though, we really encourage you to get a local, friendly accountant.
Yes. Next question is from Blizzard Barbie. And she asks, aren't you ever afraid of bringing bed bugs and so forth into your home with the clothing or other fabric items like rugs? I assume that you don't clean them before selling them. So
I'll answer this. I mean, number one is, very few of our items do we actually pull out of the garbage. I mean, we laugh about it and we talk about it, but we aren't embarrassed about it because this country throws away so much beautiful items
that are perfect,
that I really think that there's no, there's no stigma associated with, going through the garbage to get good items. I mean, any picker will tell you it's a gold mine. But yeah, we have it's New York or in urban areas or around schools, you go around and there's furniture and rugs and household items. Yeah. And again, they're just kind of put on the curb in a nice, neat pile. Yeah. And they aren't dirty. And you look at them, and if it looks like someone just picked it up off their floor and then put it right there, it's in really good shape.
Right. So we're not picking up mattresses.
Right.
Mostly mattresses are where bed bugs are.
Right.
I mean, they can get into couches and stuff. Whatever. We don't pick couches up off
and
the
plus,
street.
We do clean things. I mean, it's vacuum them and shake them out.
I got a rug in New York City, and it's called a Killam rug. So they're very thin wool. They're not like a big, tufts, wool. So I actually did wash that. I wash Killam rugs in cold water on Delicate. So if there is a problem, I've washed it and I've hung it out in the sun.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, again, I just think it's like people who scavenge for food in dumpsters behind,
like Trader Joe's.
Yeah, I mean,
Whole Foods.
You have to be smart about if you're getting good food or if you're getting bad food. So, and it's the same thing with items. And we bring all the items into our home. So if any of these things ever had a problem, we would have known about it.
We would have known about it right away.
So anyway, that's and we guarantee everything we sell, so we always take its returns if there's
a problem, we'll just refund people.
Yeah.
Next question is from Tony from the Mississippi Pickers, who comments on the blog often. Tony says, there's a new TV show starting this month called Thrift Hunters on Spike TV, which, as anyone knows, is done by Thrifting with the Boys, who's they're like an eBay,
yeah, they're kind of like
power seller
eBay
dudes.
Celebrities.
Yeah, they're like eBay celebrities. So anyway, they have a show called Thrift Hunters on Spike TV. We feel like it may cause a temporary impact on thrift shops' inventory, but in the long run, we feel most people will be overwhelmed by the learning curve and drop out. What is your feeling on this new show's impact on scavenging thrift stores in the near future? I mean, I agree. And we've seen that with auctions, with those auction shows or the storage picker shows.
Storage Wars.
You see the young couple that comes once and then they buy all this stuff and then they never list it, or they don't open the store that they think they're going to.
Or we don't know what happens, but we'll never
see them again.
And what we always assume is they've bought a bunch of stuff because that's what they do on the TV shows, and then they take it home and put it into the middle of their family room, and they don't know what to do with it.
Or it's not worth anything.
Or they start to list it, and they're like, this is boring.
Boring.
And I think that's a good thing. Like Mikey, when we started doing this podcast, he always taught me, because I was always afraid, should we do this podcast? Because we're going to tell people all of our secrets. And he just kept telling me, Jay, there's so much stuff in this country that you can't give away secrets because there's too much stuff to go around. So we aren't really worried about that.
I am interested to watch their show, though. The thing about thrifting with the boys, too, is they mostly sell T-shirts and mugs. Like, I don't know if they sell, like, other specialty items. So if that's what they're shopping for on the show...
Yeah. I don't know.
But we'll see. It'll be interesting to see that.
Okay, next one.
Okay, the next one is from Amazing Taste. I would love to hear an episode about setting eBay goals. As I am running my year-end numbers for the dreaded tax man, it has me thinking about what I want to do in 2014. How do you set goals for your business? Also, I'm wondering if you guys see any true benefit in the power seller tier system. I am close to the gold level and wondering if attaining that level will affect my sales. Thanks for the show.
So... here's what we do. We would love to make certain amounts of money, but really we have no control over that. What we do have control over is how much we list. Mm-hmm. And that's the goals that we set. So
that's the only goal you set.
So like this year was 2013, we wanted to get up to 3,000 items in our store and to maintain it because, we're selling every day. So we have to keep going to keep our store that full. And then based on that number of what we have in our store, we do see our sales rise.
Yeah.
And so I think we always do it by a factor of 500. I don't know. Could we actually get to 3,500 things in our store? Maybe.
I think so. But if you keep selling stuff, it's hard.
Yeah. So that's the kind of goals that we have. Like we always say, it's all about listing. All this other stuff is just talk.
Yeah.
It's about bulking up your inventory, and
we do have a number goal of we like to sell $300 a day. That has been your goal for about a year. Like, let's try to hit that number by listing as much as we can to hit that number every day.
Right.
So let's see, so that's like $9,000 a month.
Right. So, but we now sell between $200 and $300 a day on average.
Right.
When you average it up, and so.
Right.
And again, but again, we have no control of that. It's month to month. We had months this year where we sold $5,000 or $6,000 worth of stuff,
right? And
then like this past month, we sold almost $10,000 worth, just because it's the seasonal, So the other thing is, we do talk about trying to scavenge higher quality items, and not just higher quality, but things we think will sell
for more.
So maybe sometimes skipping over a box of stuff we can get for free, but each item isn't going to sell for a lot, and instead investing $20 in an item that we think we can sell for $200 or $300.
Right, exactly.
So that way you're investing a little more up front, but you're getting more money on the back end.
Right.
And you're doing is less work too. And then real quick about the thing about the power seller gold is level. We talked to an eBay person once at an event, and they were telling us that gold or bronze or silver, it doesn't mean anything. That was kind of like in the old days when all those little badges and the colored stars meant something, I guess, to people who actually sold because it was like an achievement. Nowadays, it doesn't mean anything. I think the only time it matters is that if you get to platinum, I think that's after gold, which means if you have to be selling like $250,000 a year, then they actually give you like a number to a specific eBay person, and that's your customer service person. But that's just because they're trying to help the big sellers, like companies,
I think we hit gold once.
We hit gold.
It was very short lived.
Yeah, and then we just, because I think it's like 120,000
or something
a year.
like that.
Okay, next question.
Okay, so the next question is from Kelly Nolan. Kelly asks, listening to your podcast today and you mentioned selling a rug. Do you ever pass on an item because it is too much hassle to ship? I tend to stick with what will fit in priority mail envelopes or boxes. Also, thanks so much for sharing great information. Okay, so that is an interesting question. I tend not to shy away from things because I want to make money.
And you talked about that $1.
$1.
It's mid-century chair you bought.
It was a pain in the ass to ship, but it really didn't take that long. It was just bulky, and it took me a little while, and I got a little sweaty. And
so does any of it feed into like enjoying it's a
puzzle, yeah. It's a puzzle, yeah. A little bit, yeah, yes. But then when you're sitting there and you're like, oh my God, I hope this is okay getting shipped to wherever it's getting shipped to. It was only getting shipped to one state away, so that was lovely. But it's still going to get rattled around in a truck. Yeah. So it's a good question because, yes, I do sometimes, look at things and say, I don't want to ship that. I don't want to pack it. I don't want to ship it. I don't want to pay for someone to pack it. However, the rugs that I have sold all have fit in poly mailers because they are Killam rugs. So they're thin wool rugs that can get folded and rolled.
And we talked about this, it's before, you don't have to pack everything. Yeah. So if something is just really too big to pack or too delicate or too hard, we've taken things to have them professionally packed and then charge the buyer
a handling fee.
And that is if it's a very kind of expensive, like if it's more than $200 or $300, normally a buyer understands that there's going to be a charge to actually ship something like that. The other thing is we've been getting into selling furniture and you do local pickup. And we've actually had success with that. And we actually live in the country, so people have to drive at least an hour or two to get to us.
This one lady drove
9 hours.
9 hours one way.
Right.
So she drove from New England to where we are.
Because we had a very, very good quality and great condition old sewing table. So
I hope that happens again.
So if you happen to live in a city, I've always thought local pickup would be like a real...
would be gold.
Would be gold because people could just come right down the street and pick it up from you.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that is it for this week.
Yes.
From now on, you'll just be hearing from us too. And we want to thank Mikey and Wendy for doing the podcast. It's with us so far. And we'll keep the 80 episodes they've been involved with will still be in the archives, and you can play them over and over again.
Yep, and make sure you check out their Holy Scrap Hot Springs blog and Wendy's book, The Good Life Lab.
Yep.
And, we'll always keep in touch with them because they're fascinating people.
See you next week.
Bye.